Welcome to our tub. Come on in. It's warm inside, and there's always room for more.
This podcast contains adult material and is intended for mature audiences only. If you're under 18, grab your rubber ducky and find another tub. This one's not for you.
Yeah. Hello, and, well, it's a little loud here. Episode 152, and the tub is on the water. No.
150.
No, 150 was the end of Exotica.
Right.
151 is what people listened to last week for New Year's Eve. Here we are.
For Christmas Eve. No,
New Year's Eve.
Oh, I'm lost. Never mind. I got it now.
Hey, we've been on a boat in the middle of the ocean, drinking and smoking for the last day and a half. Because there isn't much to do because, well, there's no sun.
It's still warmer than in Pittsburgh, though.
Yes, it is. So it is 5 o'clock, and, they're playing 5 o'clock somewhere, Jimmy Buffett. So
Well,
here we are.
We are on Margaritaville at sea.
Yeah.
It's appropriate.
Exactly. So we, figured let's set up some microphones, get some recording done. Just talk about, hey, what's this year, how the trip's been, what's next on our list, and, then in the second half we'll have something of sustenance, something that makes sense, right?
Nah.
So this trip definitely has been interesting. We needed it. A long drive.
Yeah.
Traffic sucks. Southern drivers suck. If you are one of those, hey, you know
sorry.
what?
Not sorry.
The amount of people that I had to pass on the right side was ridiculous. But we made it. Again, quick little cruise. Not bad. This ship's a little bit older, but clean. No real complaints. Pretty well packed. A lot of families, a lot of groups. So that's always cool. Drinks are good, drinks are strong. Mrs. partook in some spa time.
Yes.
You weren't given much of a choice. Being I bought the package and said, hey, you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are. Tomorrow we're in Freeport. And we had a little fun too, ourselves. The cameras are here. Maybe there'll be some video evidence. Yet to be determined.
Yet to be determined.
Yes. Do want to, again, plug as we have. AVN nominations are still out there. You have until January 25th to get your AVN nominations in. Hey, we appreciate that.
Votes, not nominations.
Well, yeah, votes are in. Yeah, votes are in. Nominations are already done. Thanks for that. Now it's vote time. But hey, yeah, that's coming up. We're still TBD, fair to say. As far as getting to Vegas for AVN, if we do, it's going to literally be a get there Friday, there Saturday, and leave Sunday. That's about all we can do from a time-wise schedule standpoint, so we'll see. You all right?
Yeah, weird smell.
Oh, okay. But the cocktail's still cold. As long as it's not the cocktail, you're fine.
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
The edible straw is a little different, though.
Yeah. Edible straw. Did you, try to crunch it yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, we're getting there. I would imagine it's sugar.
Yeah, probably.
Imagine it's solid sugar. But again, quickly back to AVN. Yeah, votes are in. You can vote. 5
votes per category?
Yeah, 5
per day.
Per category per day. And then it resets. So, between podcasts, between all the other all the fan nominated categories, you're bound to get a vote in for someone that you know, like, follow, and enjoy. We will kind of put it out there for sure if we are going to be in Vegas. If anybody else is going to be out there, we know quite a bit. What else? I think we're just kind of like yapping at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we call this short intro a wrap. We get back to drinking and smoking, and well,
See what the rest of the trip brings?
Yeah, see what the rest of the trip brings. We'll fill it in. I'm sure you can see all the debauchery and the shenanigans on our social medias. So it'll be there. And then work on uploading some stuff to the website as well. We're going to be working on a website refresh here over the next couple weeks as well. So keep an eye out on that. But take a short break and get back into the next segment of this week's episode.
All right. Well, welcome back to this week's episode. It is 152. I think we did determine in the intro. Correct?
Did we?
I mean, it was in the middle of the ocean and a couple drinks in. So I know we went round and round and back and forth. Now that we're back on land and we don't have
Back to work, unfortunately.
Yeah, don't have the shakies. Yeah, I believe we
think
did
so.
determine that this is episode 152.
Yeah, Christmas Eve was 150. New Year's Eve was 151.
Exactly. All right.
151. Ooh, rough stuff.
All right. So that being the case,
Mm-hmm.
we did talk, well, a little bit again in the intro, and we'd kind of, hinted about it. We got away.
Mm-hmm.
As we talk to performers and creators about, how do you handle your mental well-being? It was long overdue. So I had a pretty nice cruise.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been nicer if we saw the sun.
True. It was warm, though. Warmer than here in Pittsburgh.
Weather was warm. We came back and, it's been snowing ever since and cold. So,
It rained first.
Yeah. Got a little reprieve, at least. But again, nice time. It was a long couple days as we drove from Pittsburgh to South Florida and drove back. So between Christmas and New Year's, got home in time to unload the car, sit for a little bit, and head out to some friends to ring in the new year with family and some long standing friends. That's always a good time. Always.
Which then turned into a 4 a.m. trip home.
Yeah. Yep. As if the 16-hour drive wasn't enough. 2 hours at home. Partied for another 6 hours, 4 hours, 4 o'clock home in the morning. And then back and spent New Year's Eve with some friends and their family as well. So, again, just a good time. Hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. It was safe and prosperous. And, well, here we are. We're in 2025. Believe that.
I actually wrote something and wrote the right year.
Oh, I fucking didn't. I put together a presentation that I have tomorrow for work, and I dated it 2024 and saved it and printed a couple copies and went, son of a bitch. It's 25. Oh, well, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So 2025, what does it hold for us? Well, this is the time of the year, as we said again in the intro. It's awards season and convention season. A lot going on in the next couple weeks out in LA and Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
We did say we were going to hopefully try to get out to Vegas. Does not look like that. You just can't get on a flight out of Pittsburgh direct that makes any sense and works into a schedule. So does not look like we're going to get out to Las Vegas once again for AVN, unfortunately. And what that means as well is in the upcoming weeks, the industry is busy. It's a buzz. So not really sure what the interview and special guests are going to look like here over the next few weeks. We're working on a few things, but yeah, it's a bit tough. And we understand that with scheduling and especially back-to-back
Events.
long weeks. You know, when you look at AVN and X3, they're 4 and 5 day events. Even though performers live in one of the two places that they're having these events,
It's still a lot.
Yes, and if you do one, then you're not going to do another, but you're still recovering. It really gets strenuous and pretty draining.
Mentally and physically, I would think.
Yes, totally. So again, we're gonna we got a few things in the hopper coming up in the next couple weeks, and a few interviews beyond that as well. So as we sit here and again enjoy a cocktail and just get back into this year, we will say, as we recorded that intro from the deck of the cruise ship, it was interesting, and we learned a few things.
We did?
A vanilla cruise, families. We definitely did have a lot of conversations with people throughout. There was definitely a good crowd on the ship. And as we hang on the pool deck, that was a smoking section, so able to sit there and have a cigar, have a couple cocktails, and people pass by and hey, pull up a seat, sit down, smoke, whatever, because it is a small area. And then we roll out the recording equipment, and you get people walking by. Oh, you're recording a podcast. Oh, what are you doing? And a few did come over and ask questions. And it was very interesting, lifestyle people and open-minded people seem to find each other without even knowing it. Met a gentleman the first night smoking a cigar, got to talking to him, ended up, having conversations throughout. Met his wife, met his grown children, then find out that, he's like, oh, so what is that podcast you're doing about? And as we kind of tiptoe around without coming right around and saying, well, hey, we're swingers, that came up, and they're nudist and lifestyle as well. Another woman had kind of come over and said, hey, sorry, but I just got to be nosy. So you're doing a podcast. What's it about? And, it was a really great conversation. It actually turns out her and her husband don't live that far from here, just over 2 hours. So you're in the middle of the Bahamas, and you find someone from
in the middle of the Bahamas, in the middle of the ocean at that point.
Yeah. As we floated for a day before we got there. So again, it was very interesting. The last night was quite funny because I was waiting for a conversation to continue as we were sitting on the deck, and these two women came out to the deck, and they were talking to somebody else about the guy in the pineapple shirt. And they both turned, and ta-da! Here I am standing in my glaring bright pineapple shirt, and we ended up, we talked to them. It was a pretty animated conversation at that point. I think they were both they had some cocktails in them. It was the last night of the cruise. They had a little green magic in them that they were partaking on the deck as well. So but no, definitely some a very interesting, and again, you find open-minded people everywhere, and you kind of end up flocking and feeding off of each other's energy without even knowing it.
really is kind of is definitely what it was.
Oh, yeah.
So with that, let's hop into somewhere we haven't been in a little while, as we still figure this whole world out. The world of Reddit, and trying to keep up on some of these boards here. And there was a post that Mrs. saw, and she was intrigued by it, reading it. So we're going to discuss this post on the Swingers subreddit to really kind of get this episode going. So, Mrs., would you like to do the reading rainbow section of this segment?
Sure. So it's titled, Warning, the Fraudulent Wife Tactic at Clubs. We just experienced an interesting phenomenon. And while we take ownership of our own mistakes, ignorance, and selfishness, we wanted to share so that others can be more aware. At a nice club that's well reviewed in this sub, danced 8, the screen goes black.
Oops, haven't touched the mouse.
Danced 8 and met some amazing couples, but ultimately nothing clicked and we headed back to the playrooms, required nude/towels, with the plan to just play with each other. Sitting on one end of the couches in the big playroom, nude now and soaking in the sexiness going on around us and getting a bit intimate together, when another couple walking by stops and watches what we were doing. That's great, we like being watched, and we are in a big group room, so it's expected. That's when the woman watching reaches in and begins rubbing my legs. This is written by the female. Now, this should have been my red flag. There was no request for permission, no discussion, but I did exchange a look with her, and I admittedly was in a bit of a pillow princess mood. So I went back to what I was doing with my hubby and let her do her thing. Within minutes, though, I felt another pair of hands on me. Sure enough, the other gal's husband misread my allowing his wife to continue as permission to join. My attempts to politely move his hands off of me just had him switch to a different part of my body, to which my husband noticed and verbally had to tell him no. They seemed offended and walked off. It threw our own vibe off a bit, and we just sat back and watched a bit following this and noticed that that couple tried the same thing on another couple, and actually saw another couple work their way into a situation with a similar tactic. Has this been common in the community and we've just never experienced it, or is this new? Ultimately, no harm, no foul. We had a great night. But it makes us wonder what other bait and switch type tactics we have been missing and should be looking for.
Interesting.
That's not cool.
Well, admittedly, yes, no consent, no ask for consent, but
Right.
admittedly, no correction on it initially.
Right.
So there's that. At the same time, I feel that sometimes there is a double standard where it may be okay and accepted for the female to touch a female in some instances. I've seen that at clubs without kind of asking the consent. I don't know if it's not a fear, more flirty, because that's what women do. I mean, where do you stand is my question.
I mean,
Now, it does say touching. So that is, I'm assuming it wasn't more than just touching a leg, rubbing a leg. It wasn't a breast, an ass, more goody parts.
right.
So your take, you're the author here in this situation.
I mean, my take, we never would have been in the big playroom to begin with.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying.
I don't know. Like, I think I want to say that I would have stopped her from the get-go, but
In that moment in time,
depending on how attractive she was, I might let it go for a minute, but
Sure, and there's a line.
Right.
You have a certain
it's still,
line.
In my opinion, though, like letting her continue wasn't spoken permission, but it was kind of permission if you didn't stop her.
If you don't say anything, yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't extend the permission to the male half.
No, and that is a whole second level of this conversation, because the initial female is one thing,
right?
And again, is another female immediately going to say something? I have, again, it's not a knock or anything. It's just all, seems, I've seen it in instances where it occurs and it's almost accepted and it's okay, that there's not uncomfortable, as long as the other one is bisexual, and the heat of the moment. And I think that is where it comes in, the heat of the moment. If someone is intimate and they're in a space, to cut into that space without even acknowledging or saying anything, shame on the actor. Mm-hmm. But from a female to female standpoint, there is more leeway given.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess.
Because if that is a single guy that attempts that, so he's getting punched in the mouth by one or two people. Right.
And I guess female to female is considered, at least for me, less, I don't know if predatory is the right word.
No, that you're right. It's less risk, less fear, less kind of all of that. You're right in saying that.
But also attempting to politely move his hands.
Well,
hell
yeah.
No, that's a firm no.
And that is a verbal. Oh no, this isn't a thing. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. That is a no.
But
this is not a thing.
I also think it goes on to say that they watched this couple go and do it to another couple. Like, that's kind of taking advantage of people already being in that vibe, in
the field,
intimate,
sure.
Turned on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah, and that's kind of what I've said. If what I was meaning, yeah, if you get into that situation,
right, and that is kind of predatory, again, male or female.
Yeah, if you wait for that,
right,
kind of, hey, they're in it now, like we can just slide right in.
Sometimes, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, yeah, for the male half to just take it upon himself to be like, well, if she can do it, so can I. That's not a.
Mm-mm. So, what did other Redditors?
So, I mean, and this first one says, "Who cares if you offended them? They need to use their words," and that's right. It's really important to speak up so people like this get the message away. In this case, no thanks doesn't cut it for me. Hey, you shouldn't be touching anyone without asking first. All right, and that's a looking out for everyone else. What's this one? That's harm because they ruined the mood, and it's a foul for touching without permission. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right here, rule number 1, consent required every fucking time. People who do not get it deserve to be offended. Too bad. See, and right here, so there's a response here. Some people think women don't need consent before they touch others. Yes and no. Well, yes, but they are correct in saying, because it is not as and aggressive isn't the word. I mean, you said predatory, it's, to me, I guess I would feel that a woman kind of touching another woman is more flirty and not overbearing, because you see it on the dance floor at a club. Mm-hmm. At a club, guys aren't touching each other and dancing. The women are. That is, in most instances, creating the mood for the whole club.
Right.
And on a dance floor at a club, I may be wrong, but if you were dancing on a dance floor and another woman comes over and begins to dance with you, in the middle of a dance floor, is consent asked?
No.
There, I think, is where the double standard is, where the consent isn't asked until it's intimate.
Right.
Well, can I kiss you? Okay. But if it's dancing and just touchy, flirty dancing together, does that, again, it is a very gray area that we see a lot.
Right, because if a man did that same thing, I might get kicked in the balls.
Well, exactly, because, yes, on a dance floor, a guy isn't doing that unless a woman would come over and be like, hey, can I dance with you? Or move in. Okay. So, again, it's a tough situation. Consent is absolutely asked and needed all the time, but it's just such a gray line. Oh, there, take the mouse. As I enjoy my Peachwood smoked bourbon. Wow, that response is freaking longer than the original post. Holy shit. Somebody had the typey types. So, this is someone that is discussing a similar situation that they had occur.
Yeah, but this went way farther.
Oh.
And it says we had something similar happen to us very early on. Only our second time in a club. Planned to only play with each other and hadn't even discussed boundaries beyond that. Middle of our first round, getting lots of eye contact, smiles from a couple sitting on the couch across from us. As soon as we finished, I kind of collapsed back on the couch to catch my breath and closed my eyes for maybe 5 seconds. When I opened my eyes, the other girl was sitting on the couch and my wife was going down on her. I was a little shocked, but my wife is very bi, and at that point it was only the second time I had seen her having sex with a girl. Not long after, the other guy slides up beside them and starts making out with his wife. It didn't take long to try and start interacting with my wife. I was kind of stuck like a deer in the headlights for a bit. After I noticed my wife making attempts to move away from him, I interrupted and suggested we take a break. We left shortly thereafter. Learned a lot about being specific with our own boundaries.
Well, and that one is a situation as well. Hey, if the women are playing, that isn't a green light for the guy to jump in and be part of, if that has not been discussed. Oh, and here's the next one. We detest this tactic. It's not uncommon even at the best clubs. Singles of both will try to silent without permission stuff. Yeah, and we've seen that with guys, with a lot of single males in clubs. And again, as you said, that is why I mean, we've never really been in a group playroom. Because of that concern.
Right. The one time we were in a room by ourselves and left the door open, there was...
Yeah, we had that. That issue. See, I don't understand how this is a fraud wife. And you don't necessarily know in this situation, was the wife kind of leading so the guy could hop in? That is, if they're moving together, then it isn't on one or the other. It really is on both of them. Well, I mean, and there's another one that says for the entire time we've been there, we've been in the lifestyle, we've seen this. It is. I think everything here comes down to the fact of saying, hey, look, you better ask consent. No matter what this situation is, if it's female, male, female, whatever. Before any physical contact, there should be the understanding and the ask for the consent of whatever you're about to do. Just because that's the professional, the adult, the non-douchebag thing to do. I mean, I don't know what you would consider that, but all right. So you see anything else, or you ready to take a little break here, and we'll come back for the second half?
You're still scrolling a little bit.
Oh, no.
All right. Fine. Well, with that, we're going to take a short break, and we will be back for the second half.
This episode is brought to you by Cassidy.com. Have you ever wished there was an all-encompassing way to find sexy, like-minded people in your area? Well, Cassidy has hit that on the head. The Cassidy platform brings the best of sexy social media, profile searches, rendezvous, party calendars, and travel all into one. Find and make new friends, share your naughtiest of pictures with select friends in your Backstage Pass, and plan your next naughty encounter all at once. Follow the Cassidy link in our tub to try it out free for 30 days. When you join, you'll be added to our community to get some early sneak peeks. You'll also be first to know where you may find us out and about.
All right, welcome back. The second half of episode 152. And as we continue to scroll the interwebs, we came across an article that was pretty interesting. It gave some numbers. This is from sexandpsychology.com. This blog is actually a few years old. It's back from November 15th, 2019. But it gave some very interesting numbers as we discuss non-monogamy, ethical non-monogamy. In this article, they refer to it as consensual non-monogamy. So definitely something that we wanted to share. It's not a big study group. It's about 3,000 people. So not large. It was done in Colorado. People are kind of spread out in that state, so maybe that's why it was only 3,000 people. However, 3,000 people still gives you a pretty good grasp. Now, the spread was 18 years old to 87 years old, so that's a pretty large range. Mm-hmm. And the article starts, have you ever fantasized about what it would be like to be in a sexually open relationship? If so, you're not the only ones. It turns out that being involved in a consensually non-monogamous relationship is among the most popular sexual fantasies. At a recent meeting of the Society for the Scientific Study of Sexuality...
Did I know that even existed?
Yeah, I know. Jeez. The results of this study were presented that looked at how many people have consensual non-monogamy fantasies, as well as how many people acted on them and what their experiences were like. Mm-hmm. So the bullet points of this study. When looking at a person's favorite sex fantasy of all times, 30% indicated that being in a consensually non-monogamous relationship was part of that fantasy. 41% of men and 21% of women. So a 2-to-1 margin about. Now, we do know women seem to be slightly more shy and reserved in sharing initially.
Right.
So what's the next bullet point, Mrs.? If you would care to share.
Looking beyond people's favorite fantasy, 81% of participants reported having fantasized about being in some type of consensually non-monogamous relationship at least once before.
81% is a lot of people. Mm-hmm. That had a fantasy about multiple people's. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Most people had fantasized about being in an open relationship, 68%, practicing polyamory, 60%, and swinging, 55%. However, men were more likely than women to report all of these fantasies.
Nearly half, 49%, reported having fantasized about infidelity. Thus, while fantasies about non-consensual non-monogamy were certainly common, they weren't as common as fantasies about consensual non-monogamy.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
They weren't.
Yes.
Or not.
Yes, they were not. So, people were at least doing the right thing. Make it consensual.
Mm-hmm. Of those who said being in a consensually non-monogamous relationship was part of their favorite sex fantasy of all time, 84% said they want to act on that fantasy, meaning it represents a sexual desire for them.
All right. That's a pretty big number.
Mm-hmm. Most people who said that consensual non-monogamy was part of their favorite fantasy had shared this fantasy with a partner before. 61% of those who had, most, 70%, reported that their partner had a positive response.
Nice. So that means, once the partner realized, boy, maybe I'm not the only one, they said, oh, yeah, I got that too. Just 20% of persons who said consensual non-monogamy was part of their favorite sexual fantasy reported having acted on it before. Among those who had, 95% reported that the experience met or exceeded expectations. In addition, 61 said that the acting on the fantasy improved their relationship. The people who reported the best experiences acting on their consensual fantasies tended to be higher in personality trait of extroversion, meaning they're outgoing and sociable. Mm-hmm. They can talk to anybody. They're a salesperson. Mm-hmm. They tended to have unrestricted sociosexual orientation. They see sex and emotion as separable, and they tended to be sensation seekers. They have a preference for thrilling sexual encounters. All right. So, fair. Mm-hmm. So, what it tells us, a consensually non-monogamous relationship seems to be a common fantasy and a common desire. As we said before, society has ingrained in us and trained us that you marry, you have one wife, and that's what it is. Or you have one spouse. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. However, everybody, or a large majority of the population, has these desires and fantasies. So they are consistent with other studies that found 1 in 5 say they've been in an open relationship before, as well as certain people seem to be better suited for a consensual non-monogamous relationship than others. And yes, that comes down to personality and, and emotion and different things, which we've definitely talked about before.
However, despite the fact that so many people say they're interested in consensual non-monogamy, relatively few have tried it.
Exactly. So whether fear, whether not knowing, where do you find it, where do you go? There's so many things that will, essentially stop someone from attempting it or researching it or looking into it. We have shared that, over the last, quite a few years since the pandemic, really, there has been an increase. Why is that? Well, I think, again, we've talked about it because people were at home. They could research. They could talk. They could really dig into it a little bit more. So we are going to wrap this session up with actually another article, again from Sex and Psychology. And this is the 7 things you should know about a consensually non-monogamous relationship. So, yeah.
Let's see. Really?
The suspense is killing me.
In consensually non-monogamous relationships, the partners involved agree that having more than one sexual and or romantic relationship at the same time is acceptable. There are a great many myths and misconceptions. So let's take a moment to clear things up. Take a look at what research has revealed about them. Here are 7 things you should know about CNM relationships according to science.
Oh, geez. Now we're getting down and dirty. This is like Bill Nye the Science Guy shit.
No, I don't think that kind of science.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
There we go.
CNM relationships can take several different forms, from polyamory to open relationships to swinging to cuckolding and many more.
Nope, that umbrella, the lifestyle is the point, and it spiderwebs out everywhere.
Right. CNM does not just mean one thing. There are a lot of ways to structure these relationships, and different people may prefer very different arrangements.
And again, as it said previous article, it's all fantasies. So what is your fantasy? What works for you? What works in your life? What works in your... what do you want? What is your gain out of it? Relationships are common. In fact, a recent national survey of single Americans found that 1 in 5 had been involved in a sexually open relationship before. Another survey found that nearly 1/2 of men and 1/3 of women said that they would be open to the idea of practicing some type of this non-monogamous relationship. All right. So 1/2 and 1/3, that's a lot of people.
Yep. Interest in CNM relationships is on the rise. Data from Google Trends reveals that over the last decade, internet searches related to polyamory and open relationships have significantly increased in the United States.
Now, as I had said as well, boy, this article is from prior to the pandemic. So this is stating that back then. What is that number now? Need to dig into that and find out.
Right. A lot of people assume that being non-monogamous necessarily means you're less committed to your relationship. However, research finds that this isn't the case. In fact, research suggests that relationship quality and stability are quite similar when comparing CNM relationships to monogamous relationships.
All right. The relationships aren't the hotbed for STDs that many folks assume. In fact, a study comparing between persons in monogamous and CNM relationship found no different. And that's despite the fact that CNM relationships have more partners and were more likely to have been tested. And again, that comes to knowing your status and more and responsible as a community overall. So that doesn't surprise me.
You might wonder how people in these relationships could have more partners yet not have more STDs. Let's see. People in monogamous relationships often cheat, and when they do, they aren't very likely to practice safe sex. It's also important to note that persons in CNM relationships are actually more likely to practice safe sex than people in monogamous relationships who commit infidelity.
Okay. That's an interesting just point, not really think about. I mean, yes, lifestyle is safe sex, is all of that. I mean, I would think that, if you're cheating on your significant other, you'd worry about that too, because you don't want to end up with like a bun in the oven. But no, again, it is responsible. The lifestyle is that way. Again, I think we've talked. There's a club here that offers testing once a month, free, and gives you a discount if you test there. They have a facility that comes in and does the testing on a club night and offers a discount. Testing's available everywhere. You don't have to. We talked. It was a few episodes back, and I honestly now I forget who it was that we had the conversation with. It was Mandy Muse. And again, there's so many different companies out there. There's a company that we used in the past that mails it to you. It's inexpensive. It's covered by insurance. Now that is for a full performer panel that covers every single thing, or just about. It's about being responsible. So positive there. And then number 7.
CNM relationships aren't for everyone. Research suggests that people with sex-seeking personalities, or people who enjoy new and exciting sexual activities and who view sex and emotion as separate, tend to be happier when they're in a CNM relationship, but less happy in a monogamous relationship. They suggest that different kinds of relationships might work better for different kinds of people, and that it's probably not the case that all of us have the same relationship orientation.
All right. Well, two pretty interesting articles. Some good information there. Some good statistics that really, again, shed light on a lifestyle that is growing, that isn't bad. We've talked so much. The people are not bad. It is such a family atmosphere. Such a close thing is what is our experience. Yes, just like anything, there's going to be the not so good people. But the overall is the people within the lifestyle that have the same mindset, the same thought process, are good for everybody. So with that, we're going to wrap up this week's episode. Thank you again for tuning in to episode 152. As we said earlier, AVN and X3 are coming up. AVN nominations are open until January 25th.
Please vote. Please vote.
Yes, thank you very much. You can get your votes in. You can vote for 5 nominees per category per day on avnawards.com. So we appreciate the clicky click for In the Tub. Keep an eye out on our social medias. There may or may not have been some photo opportunities taken while we were away. So some things are coming up on some of those spicy sites as well as some social media. And there's a good chance there could be more coming up. We just received something in the mail prior to leaving that one of our partners and affiliates asked us both to give a ride to for a review. So that will make its way onto the OnlyFans, and then the review out for that. Again, on the sponsors and the support, the affiliates that we have for the show, you can find all their links on our website. Great companies. They support us. We support them. Anything you can do to support them and us is greatly appreciated. So with that, we are going to call this episode a wrap. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias. Berg Couple for Fun on Twitter and Instagram. The Bergs on Facebook and Reddit. OnlyFans.
Yeah.
What's the OnlyFans? There's 2 of them.
There are.
Did you? Yeah, I remember that one. There's 2 of them. So there is ours. Is Berg Couple for Fun. But then,
yes,
Mrs. has her own.
That's right.
Oh, and that is
Mrs. Berg.
all right. So you can catch us there as well. You can hit us up on email, thebergs@inourtub.com.
Right.
Our website is inourtub.com.
Catch us on Free Swap or
Full.
Yeah, full Free Swap. Full Swap Radio. See, you asked me if I remember my
Free
lines.
for all swap. I mean, hey.
On Full Swap Radio.
Yes. Monday at 9 and Fridays at 1. And hey, keep an eye out on those social medias as well. That's where our travel plans and the upcoming where we gonna be is gonna be. So, with that, remember to pay for your porn. Support all the wonderful, beautiful content creators and performers that we have on this show, that we know within the industry. Take care of yourself, mental health, Do what makes you keep ticking and being yourself. Remember to wrap it before you tap it. Lick it before you stick it. And until next time.
We'll keep the lights on and the tub warm for you.